So yesterday, which would have been March 29th, I took Willie and Selene into the vet. Willie was going in for a recheck to see if he needed the third medication for his heart, and Selene was going in because she is sick. I'll start with Willie here, and then we'll get into Selene. Willie is currently on furosemide and enalapril, and yesterday he was put on pibabendin, 5 milligrams of that. And as the vet explained it, basically it's supposed to help strengthen the heart muscle and help it work a little bit easier, which more or less is code for easing the burden until we can't anymore. The furosemide is a diuretic that keeps the fluid out of his lungs, so he drinks more water and then he pees out the fluid in his lungs instead of it sitting in his lungs. And the enalapril is like an ACE inhibitor, which I think opens up the blood vessels and potentially thins his blood to make it flow easier, which makes the heart not have to pump quite as hard. The vet said that he doesn't sound like he has much fluid in his lungs anymore, which is good, but his heart sounds like crap. So I already knew that. It just sucks to hear it confirmed. It sucks to hear it confirmed that he has heart failure. It sucks to know that he already needs the third medication. It just sucks. But that's where we are, and that's what we're doing. I started him on it yesterday. He gets, it's a 5 milligram tablet. Started him on it yesterday. He's staring at me because he can hear the pills shaking. This one is quite a bit more expensive, but that's okay. They don't sell it on their website, which is where I order the rest of his medication. So I'll either have to go into the vet's office every single time to get it, or I'll have to switch my orders to Chewy.com because they do sell this. That's where we are. I'm going to go ahead and add this into my app where I track my medication and his medication. Most of it is his medication. So that way it's in there. And then we'll get into Selene Ween. So today is March 30th. It's currently 10:30 in the morning. Selene has been sick for noticeably a couple days. She has very clearly been sick before that. This is just when I noticed it. Last week at some point, probably towards the middle of the week, I noticed that one of the girls had diarrhea while I was cleaning out the litter boxes, but because none of them were in the litter box at that moment or using it while I was in there, I didn't know who it was. There are 3 girls using the litter boxes, so to eliminate which one it was, you would have to separate them all. And unfortunately, we don't have the spare rooms to separate them because of a certain dog that prevents us from letting the cats just run free whenever they want, despite how much we would love to have that. But I assumed it was probably Bean because she is stressed out from being in heat, which if you hear her eventually, currently she's quiet so she must be sleeping, but if you hear a sound that sounds like a cat dying, that's Bean's in heat noise, and I apologize sincerely in advance if you do hear it. She's so stressed out from being in heat that she's licking her legs and her stomach bare, and she's just been treated for a UTI. So I figured that if one of them had diarrhea, it was probably her. But then on Friday or Saturday, I think, Selene loved up against me, and while I was giving Bean her meds. And if you don't know a lot about Selene, either because you're new here or just because I don't talk about her a ton, because she doesn't appear in my videos a ton, which you'll hear why in a second, Selene has always been a very, very timid, skittish cat. She's very untrusting. She doesn't really trust much of anyone. She half trusts me, but if I do something that's even mildly shifty, We normally have to take a couple days break from her wanting me to be near her or touch her or anything. And I'm used to that. I've known her for 5.5 years, give or take. We found her in a ditch along the highway when she was about 2 months old, give or take. She was most likely dumped before she was 10 weeks, so she never really learned how to be a cat. Bean and Jackie are actually teaching her how to be a cat now. She's learning how to eat like a cat and play with toys like a cat, and that has been a very enjoyable part of moving the girls in with Selene, has been getting to see her be more like a cat. And it has made her a bit more affectionate, but she was still keeping her distance, which I just thought was because it was normal Selene stuff, but I now believe it's because she was sick and she wasn't feeling good. But when she loved up against me, I ran my hand down her back, because if you have cats, you probably do it. Run your hand down their back and then grab their tail and pull on their tail. Not like a hard pull, just like a little glide up their tail. I always do that with all of them. They all like that. And that's about the only way that Selene is comfortable being petted at first, until she gets comfortable with your hands being near her again that day. But she was very, very thin, and I could feel every single bump in her spine as I ran my hand down her back. I had noticed several days at least before that her face looked very weird and just different than usual, but I couldn't place why. Now I believe it is because of the weight loss and the way it has affected her face. But because of that, on Saturday I took her into the bathroom to try and give her some tuna, because we didn't have any canned cat food sitting around. And she ate a couple bites of tuna, and that was it. She's never really been a canned cat food creature. Even when she was a baby, when we first got her, she would not eat soft cat food. So after she ate what little she would, I went back into her room with her and gave her some treats, because she loves treats, and she ate a pretty good amount of those. I think I gave her maybe 6 of them, because I didn't want to give her a ton in one go, but you can give her up to 10 throughout the day according to the package's instructions. But then on Sunday, she wouldn't eat tuna, she wouldn't eat her food, she wouldn't drink any water, she wouldn't accept a treat from me, nothing. So I brought her in her cage into the living room, because her cage is her safe space. She sleeps in there most of the time in her room. She enjoys the cage. It is safe for her. I mean, she's right down here right now, and she's just sleeping in the cage. I brought her into the living room in it so I could keep an eye on her, give her food and water, and keep an eye on her intake, in hopes that she would intake something. Of course, on Sunday, she did not take in anything, even when she was in her cage. No food, no water. And then that night, I took the food out and gave it to Roxy, just so that way it wouldn't get all nasty and smelly, because I obviously didn't want any of that icky smell stuck to her or the cage or anything like that. And I just put her hard food back in there, so that way if she wanted to free range it, she could, because she free ranges in her room with food. And then the next morning, Monday morning, I had already planned to take her into the vet. I was already going to try and get her and Willie into the vet at the same time. Again, him for a checkup, him for a re-checkup, her for a checkup. She's sick. Help me figure out what's wrong. So Monday morning I took her out of the cage to clean it, because I knew she had made a mild mess in there. Just like a little spot of vomit or diarrhea on the pee pad that I had lining the bottom of it, which I had done in case she had gotten sick, just because she obviously wasn't feeling good, and she doesn't feel good either. And she went to the litter box in the bathroom, because I had brought it in there, because she would hold anything she possibly could if it meant waiting for a litter box, basically. But after she used the litter box, and I'm sorry for grossness, if you want to skip past grossness, I'll put like a timestamp of when I'm done talking about this specific thing, but this is probably the grossest part. After she used the litter box, which I watched her, but I'm not 100% sure if she was peeing or if she just had diarrhea, but when she got out of the litter box, almost immediately she just basically started leaking liquid diarrhea. It was mostly water. Smelled absolutely horrible, which is not a good sign for your cats. And then almost immediately afterwards she vomited, and that was the same color, consistency, and smell of the diarrhea. Again, not good. So I cleaned her up the best I could because her back end was completely covered in sick of some degree. And then I cleaned out her cage, replaced the pee pad, put her back in there, gave her some water, and then took her back into the living room. Well, I actually brought her into here because then I was in here, until her vet appointment at 3. At the vet's, we did Willie first because I knew that would be the easier one, and I already knew what to expect for him. I already know that his heart is not great, and I already know what his diagnosis is. But with Selene, we got her out of the cage, which, if you can imagine, was not fun. They tipped her out of the cage because she wouldn't come out of it, because I told them in advance that she's a little bit wiry and she probably wouldn't behave like Willie does, which I get. But he checked her mouth and her teeth and her gums were okay. He took her temperature was okay. He took a stool sample, which was very easy to do based on the previous thing that I mentioned. And then they took her out of the room to do a blood test, to draw blood from her. The blood test came back while we were still in the vet's office. They were super busy that day. But the blood test was a full CBC with panel thing, and it came back clean. All of her organs are fine. Her blood is fine. She's fine as far as her blood is concerned. So then the doctor gave her a shot of Baytril, dexamethasone, and B12, which, as I understand, is to help maybe boost the immune system, fight infection, and potentially something with the diarrhea. Not 100% sure. And then she was prescribed 10 doses, which means about 5 days worth of metronidazole. Something like that. I'll put the names up on the screen. I'm doing my best. I look up some of them, the pronunciation. The other ones I just look up what they do, so that way I know what to expect. But she's on 1 milliliter of that every 12 hours, and that is to help fight the diarrhea as well. But she's on that for the next couple of days, and I've already given her her first dose of it today around 6 this morning, so I'll give her her second dose around 6 this evening. And then the stool sample was a intestinal parasite screen, and I got a call for that about 6:30 last night because the vet, bless him, I can't thank him enough for it, stayed at the clinic for an hour afterwards to analyze and give me a call, which I know he was doing other things as well, but the fact that he still called me that day even after closing was deeply appreciated, because I have been to an actual hospital for people who say they're going to call with my blood results and then they never do, and then I have to call them or I have to go find out on my own, which sucks because you would like a doctor to do what they're supposed to do, or a nurse to do what they're supposed to do and call you. So I will always appreciate him taking the time to call and let me know yesterday so I didn't have to wait until today. But unfortunately, And fortunately, I suppose, the stool sample came back clean. There was no parasite or bacteria or infection or anything like that. So the good news was that she didn't have an infection. The bad news is that we didn't know and still don't know what's wrong. Yesterday the vet said that if she hadn't perked up by Wednesday, tomorrow, I should bring her back in. I should bring her back in for a x-ray and fluids, so we can get fluids and nutrients into her. Which we still might have to do. Depends on how the rest of today goes. This morning, around 5, I took her into the bathroom to clean out her cage, change the puppy pad, clean her a little bit. I don't want to push her on it. So I just took a wet paper towel and cleaned her tail the best I could. Because that's the part she's most familiar with. Again, me running my hand up her tail. She's not much as familiar with me touching her feet, and her back feet are very dirty. But I cleaned her tail and I wiped the knobby part of their feet that don't touch the ground when they're standing. And then I gave her her meds, which she took pretty well. I had her wrapped in a towel and held her in my lap so she couldn't just escape. Because she's fast as hell. So, and she handled it very well. She didn't scratch me or spit it out or anything like that. And then after that, I decided I would try to give her some food because Mom bought some wet food for her yesterday after work. And she took a couple bites of that. She licked at it and ate at it for maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't remember. I just know that by the time I stood up, I was completely numb from the knees down. And she drank some water. Again, not a lot, but some. And at this point, some is better than nothing. I almost cried when she took a drink, and then I almost cried some more when she ate something. If you can hear a bird chirping in the background, I deeply apologize. I can't control him. He's in the living room, so I'm hoping you can't hear it, but I can hear it. So, there's that. But at the moment, she's just in her cage. As far as I know, she hasn't drank or ate anything yet. I have been in and out of the room to take care of the other cats, clean out litter boxes, change Tink's water, give Tink food, sweep my room, sweep Tink's shelves, take care of the hams, give Willie his meds, feed him, let dogs in and out, wash clothes, stuff like that. So I haven't been sitting here 100% of the time since she has been in here in her cage. But in the time I have been in here, she hasn't drank anything, and I don't have these soft foods sitting in there, so that way it's not getting nasty. It is in the fridge instead, so it is still fresh the next time that I try to give it to her. But that's where we are right now. We'll see how the rest of tonight goes, and we'll see if I need to get her in tomorrow. See if I can't get some more food in her system tonight, and we'll go from there. But otherwise, that is all that I have at this very moment. Probably the next time that I take her out of the cage, I will film her. Partially to show you guys what she looks like and all of that. And partially just because I don't have a ton of videos or photos of Selene, because she's never really been into that. So that's probably what we'll do. I'm planning on letting her out again before I go to sleep. Unfortunately, she can't just stay out in the bathroom because she would jump up on the counters and knock things down, which, truthfully, I'll pick things up, I don't care, but it would scare the hell out of her, and I don't have a place to go shove all of that right now. But I'll see you guys when I see you, and for now, I'm just going to continue sitting here and hope that she drinks something in the meantime. Alright, so I'm not going to film her the whole time that we're in here, because I just want to be with Selene, but I figured that you should get an update as well. And warning in advance, she is very skinny. Not as bad as she could be, but she's still very skinny. She's about 4 pounds. Come on out, baby. And even now, she looks somehow better than she did yesterday. But it's time for her medication. I mean, you can see in the face there, she looks a little weird. Her third eyelid is out all the time right now. And she doesn't look one way for very long. Again, she's very timid and skittish. Sorry, I moved my foot. But we're doing what we can here. Unfortunately, unlike with Bean, I have to wrap her in a towel and restrain her. And I don't think I can film that very easily, even with setting the camera up beforehand. So I'm just going to go ahead and give her her meds, and then I have the leftovers of her food up here, and we'll see if I can get her to eat that as well. Hi, pretty girl. But the cage is still clean, no messes, so the medicine is doing its job. It's helping with at least something. Sorry, my camera died and I don't want to leave to get another battery. She's angry because I gave her her meds. And so I violated her trust. And so she's back there and she's going to stay there for a while. She won't come out to food yet, which I get. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I'll probably have to pick her up and bring her out of there. But at the moment I'm just going to sit here and dick around on my phone and see if she'll come out on her own. And if not, I'll grab her and see if I can't get her to eat. She was better about it this morning. More trusting, I mean. She didn't hate me afterwards, but it didn't go down quite as easy this time. I don't know if she sort of gagged on it or started to kind of throw it up, but it was very, I don't know, stringy and came back out of her mouth. And it's not stringy in the bottle, so I don't know, but that did violate her trust a little. So, oh, there you are. Hello, baby girl. Got some food for you here if you're interested. What do you think? That works too. Hi, baby. Her eyes look a little better than yesterday too. You got some nastiness in your whiskers now. Yeah, you can go over there. That's okay. Selene. That's okay. Yeah, I know. You've got a whole bunch of nastiness stuck over there. I've been trying to clean the base of her tail and her back feet in little sections, bits and pieces. I don't even know. But again, she's very timid and I don't like pushing her. But her face looks so very different, and I fucking hate myself for not picking her up sooner or forcefully touching her. But sometimes respecting boundaries comes with a cost, and now we're down to 4.2-ish pounds, so just doing what we can. It took a while. It's now 6:46, I think. Yeah, approaching 6:50. But she has come down from her perch upon the toilet, has gone to the bathroom, and is now sitting on my lap, which is something that she never does. But I think that means I have some trust back, which is good. Just been
scrolling through Chewy.com and Amazon in search of cat toys and planning out birthday cat toys for the cats. It's a good time killer. Yeah. She still hasn't eaten anything, but now that she's down here and is currently trusting, I'm going to see if I can hold the bowl and get her to eat. That's how I did it yesterday. I was holding the bowl and she ate. So we'll see if I can get her to do that again. And then we'll go from there. Progress. So she only took a couple licks of the food before coming back over here to sit on my lap. Which isn't great, but, you know, doing what we can here. I've never had her sit on my lap in the entire 5.5-ish years that I've had her. So I guess that means I've really gained her trust here. So that's something. But it's 7:10-ish p.m. now, and I'm just going to kind of keep occasionally lifting this and seeing if she'll take anything, but it's seeming pretty unlikely at the moment. She's been drinking water today, though. She drank water this morning before I put her back in the cage, and I heard her drinking water several times the couple hours I was asleep. So, that's something. That's progress. Babe, just lay down. Honey, you're not accomplishing anything. Oh, you can't see him very well. There he is. He was digging at the towel to try and make a bed. It is 3:05, 3:06, somewhere in there in the morning. I'm recording on my phone again, so it's dark, and I still haven't changed the battery in my camera. I woke up at 2 to take my meds for my thyroid, and admittedly, this mess was my fault, but Willie peed on me and the couch. I think he peed on the couch before he woke up, because his green towel, which I used to carry him between rooms, was wet but mostly cold, so I think that probably happened in his sleep. And then he was on my lap when he needed to pee the second time, and I knew that he needed to go outside, but I just kept telling him to wait, because I was going to take my meds before I put him outside. So I needed to change clothes, take the sheet or the towels off the couch and throw those in the washer, and I'm gonna wash them later on in the day, and then lay a new towel down. So I did that, and then of course little dude went outside, and then I fed him, and then I was going to take Selene into the bathroom and feed her, or try to feed her, but she had made a mess in the cage again. Not a big one by any means, but diarrhea again. not as much as last time, but much darker than last time, but it didn't smell like last time. So now I'm not sure if I should take her to the vet again today, because she had diarrhea again. She looks better today. She looked better yesterday, but I don't know. Very dark stool in pets can mean that they're bleeding. And I don't know if it's that or not. Because it was a lot darker than last time. I know that for certain. So I don't know if I take her back in for an X-ray and fluids and go from there or what. But I know that none of this has been fun, and none of this is fun. But she's in her cage down here, and she hasn't made a mess since I cleaned it and changed it. But she hasn't drank any water, so I don't know what to do yet. I think I'll probably talk to my mom when she wakes up, and let her decide, because I covered Selene's first appointment with the money that I had saved up for Willie because he didn't have an x-ray or a blood test. So since my mom will be paying for a second appointment, I'll probably talk to her and see if she thinks we should take her in or if we should wait or what we should do. But we'll see, and we'll go from there. I don't know how many videos this will take up or if it will even end up in a video. But if it does, I will do my best to keep you guys updated. For now, I'm going to edit a animal video for today, of Tink. Thankfully, just of Tink. And then try to lose myself in writing for a bit. So that is where we are, and I will hopefully see you guys with good news at some point. One step forward, 3 steps back. I don't know if my phone will pick up on it, but if it does and you hear a metallic clinking sound in the background, it is Willie jumping on the gate. I haven't fed him yet because I just got back from the vet, so he's about an hour past his mealtime. But I try to save that for when I'm taking care of the cats, so that way he doesn't complain too much. So his oatmeal is in the fridge cooling off at the moment, and then I'll give that to him after we're done here. It is 9:51 in the morning on March 31st, and we just got back from dropping Selene off at the vet's. I apologize in advance if I cry. It has been a long couple weeks, and I'm exhausted and stressed out beyond belief. So I made an appointment for her at 9:15-ish, and we took her in to discuss what had gone on this morning with the reoccurrence of the diarrhea, but it not being as watery, it being darker in color, so on and so forth. And then we decided to do an x-ray and give her fluids. We don't know that the x-ray will discover anything, but it is our due diligence to make sure that she doesn't have anything stuck in her intestines anywhere. It could be something like that. It could be a pancreas issue. There are so many things that it could be that narrowing it down is very difficult, but we are doing what we can to explore our options and treat the cause so she can get better. So that's where we're at.
My mom is supposed to be picking her up tonight around 5, depending on how things go. And until then, I'm just going to try to lose myself in writing as much as I can, or in research or something, because I can't sleep. And then hopefully I will see you guys with good news soon. Tonight, hopefully. But we'll see.
What do you think, Selene Weed? You can get up there. Oh. Do you want to try the water from the tap again? It's just me. I can go get your water. Yeah. Yeah. You can get all wet. Let me go get your actual water bowl, okay? Hi, baby girl. How are we doing today? Yeah. Looks like we had a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. Just a couple spots. Yeah. Yeah. Meow. Meow. What are you doing? Oh, good hidey spot. Meow. That's a pooper scooper. I mean, you can smell it if you want. I don't care. Alright, I'm gonna clean up your couple little messes here, and then we'll clean out your litter box, okay? Yeah. So it is April 1st, 8:10-ish in the morning, and we are in good spirits. Selene is anyway. Yesterday was very difficult, to say the least. My mom picked her up sometime around 5 in the evening, and was shown the x-ray that they took. She was also tested for feline leukemia, I think, and that came back negative. But so far, I have only heard the secondhand account of the x-ray from my mom. My vet hasn't called back just yet, which is fine. But he's going to call me and walk through what it was and the options. But from the secondhand account that I got from my mom, she has fluid surrounding her intestines, and the fluid is compressing her intestines, and just fucking everything up. So he told my mom that there's another stool test that we can do, but it will depend a lot on the cost, unfortunately, and also what the outcome will be next. Like, if the test tells us what's wrong, can we fix it, or is the outcome unfortunately the same regardless? And that's a lot of what will decide what we do next. But I will update you guys once I know more. But for now, she's just going to get to sit in here again. This is where she spent all night. I brought her bed in here from her room, and she didn't have an accident until about 6 o'clock this morning. So she's in good spirits. She's doing better. I don't want to say okay, because that's just incorrect. But she's doing better. She's feeling more like Selene. So that's something. I'll see you guys when I know more. What are you doing, Selene? Bless you. What are you doing? Selene. Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing?
Hmm.
Meow. Come here, Selene. I don't have any more meds for you, so I can't trick you into anything. What are you doing? Hi, baby. What are you doing? Mom. Meow.
What are you doing, Selene? It's currently approaching 9:40 in the morning on April 6th, I believe. Hi, baby. And yesterday, took her into the vet to get a stool sample, but because her stool is more solid, which is true, and she looks better. I mean, you can see in the face that she looks much, 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 much better. You can't see her third eyelid anymore, which her being sick was the first time that I had like seen that at all. But she's gained 0.6 pounds since we took her in the first time, and she's doing better. So because of that, although the vet collected a stool sample, he didn't want us to pay for a test that might not tell us anything, especially if she's doing okay right now. So instead, we've put her back on a week of this stuff. There you go. And that's twice a day, every 12 hours. So we're going to do that again for about a week and then take her into the vet and get her weighed and see how she's doing, and we'll go from there. But there is a possibility that the fluids and the stuff the first time actually greatly helped whatever is wrong. When it comes to fluid around the intestines, there are a lot of things that can cause it, and some of them are more easily treated than others. Some of them can be like pancreas issues, liver issues, abdominal cancer, and then there are others that it just happens for one reason or another, and it can be fixed with antibiotics or anything to fight infection, bacteria. Some of them are almost like can be fixed with a gentle massage. And I think we lucked out in that it seems that the shots she was given and the meds helped greatly, which I still can't believe. But she looks so much better, and she's acting like Selene. Last night, my mom put her slippers outside the door there for after her shower, and she walked down the hallway and she came back like 5 seconds later, and Selene had stolen one of them, which in our house is a very good indicator that Selene is feeling much, much better. So,
I'm going to be watching her for the next week. She's still going to be in here, so that way she can't hide as easily from me giving her her meds, because she's very, very fast. And then after her meds are gone, we're going to integrate her back into her room with Bean and Jackie. If she doesn't want to do it all at once, she doesn't have to. She can stay in here and then go back in there for a couple hours at a time, whatever. Gonna take it at her pace. And then I'll keep a very, very close eye on her, check her weight, watch her face, make sure that her face looks normal and that it doesn't change, and if it does, she's going back to the vet. But for now, we're okay. And that's all I can really ask for. Things were looking very, very, very dicey for a while there, and the vet still has no idea what caused it. He just hopes that her gaining weight, her eating, her stools being more solid, he's hoping that those are all signs that she is on the mend, and that's what we're going to go with for now. But my baby girl is currently okay, and I'm going to do my best to hold on to that for as long as we possibly can. I'm going to go ahead and give her her meds, and then I need to take care of the rest of the babies after I give her food and water as well. And then we will go from there. But I will see you guys if anything different happens. But for now, she's doing okay. She looks like Selene, she acts like Selene, and she talks like Selene. So maybe she's a healthy Selene. But that's all we have for you right now. I'm not going to do my usual outro here. I'm just going to say that because Willie was also in this video, or the first part of this video series, I'm not 100% sure how it ended up being divided. I'll say that if you want to donate to his medicine fund, my Ko-Fi and or PayPal are linked in the description. And if you want to look at any of the wish lists for my animals, Selene and Willie included, they are also linked in the description. But otherwise, that is all that I have. I'm going to give her her meds, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.